Now, yesterday, I happened to have a kind of interesting discussion on the heels of the acquisition of Red Hat and IBM. IBM announcing moments ago a multi-year alliance with AT&T, a deal which companies both say are worth billions. I want to point out that the real gain here is 5G, because I believe that Microsoft could be involved, too, eventually. Because, remember, IBM with Red Hat is allowing for a more ecumenical activity when it comes to the data center and, of course, to Azure versus IBM's data services, their web platform.
Yes.
So you need to know that. But I did speak exclusively with both CEOs earlier and began by asking Ginni Rometty whether this deal moves the needle for a company as large as IBM, which many people are suspect about. Here's what she told me.
This is all about IBM becoming the primary partner for both the development, modernization of the apps, and moving them to the IBM cloud for AT&T Business. And then AT&T and IBM together will be building an edge mobile platform, particularly for enterprise clients. And then AT&T has done just a super job all around moving their network to software-defined. They've used Red Hat, but this is now an expansion of Red Hat in the network. And as well, AT&T is a provider to IBM for my internal network. This is about moving me then to that new software-defined network. So I am really pleased. This absolutely moves the needle.
All right, John, AT&T is doing some remarkable things since you did the merger with Time Warner. There's been a lot of savings of money. I want to see growth. This feels like growth to me. Did you pick IBM? Did IBM become the favored nation here, in part because of your relationship with Red Hat?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you think about the history we have with IBM, the risks that of moving to the cloud in a really aggressive way, the kind that not only transform your company internally, your cost structure, but how you address customers and therefore opportunities for growth. And you worry about technology, you worry about how to transform your applications, and then you worry what happens if I get in trouble. And I think that we've had a 20-year relationship with IBM. They know us. And so when you think about expanding Red Hat with the experience that those guys have inside of our operations, and then the ability to go to market together, those things combine for us to form a low-risk, really high-opportunity kind of situation.
All right, Ginni, you're probably number one fan of the Red Hat deal. I don't think anyone from the moment it happened thought it was great. I have looked at the comparables of what you ended up paying for Red Hat versus the other cloud kings that I talk about. It does appear that in retrospect, you got quite a bargain. The rest zoomed. Can you talk about what you got from Red Hat? Jim Whitehurst isn't here right now, but what you got from Red Hat that turned out to be much more of a bargain than it looked like to the analysts when it was announced.
Well, look, I think many people, when they think of a cloud company, they don't think about a profitable company. And as you know, Jim built a very profitable company and a very good company with Red Hat. But even more important, what John Donovan just said there a minute ago, with AT&T being cloud first, think about what we now do for them. So in addition to us being the primary cloud provider, but John will also be multi-cloud, and we'll be managing that. And as you know, we bought Red Hat in order to be the hybrid multi-cloud platform out there, because that's the reality for companies like many others in the Fortune 500, Fortune 1000, like AT&T. And so, yes, we're going to modernize together those apps, move them to the cloud, IBM cloud, but there'll be other partners, too, in the cloud, and we'll also manage that in that hybrid environment. That's what we got with Red Hat. Together, our ability to do that hybrid environment. And so I really give AT&T a lot of credit with a vision of what it is they want to accomplish, but to do it on scale.
All right, so, John, what is the financing of this deal? A lot of people are concerned that AT&T, very big debt. I know you're in quiet period. A very big debt issue. How does this deal kind of work in terms of you paying AT&T, AT&T paying you, or is this just an exchange in kind?
Everything we do is laser focused on growth opportunity out in the market, cost reduction internally, and transforming ourselves into a simpler operation, which then transitions into both cost and customer effectiveness. And this meets that hurdle. It's wide, it's deep, it's formidable, and I think that it meets all those criteria because it's one of those rare things that affects revenue, cost, and then how you serve your customers. And in that regard, we love it.
John, a continuing theme from what I've heard is 5G, 5G, 5G. How important is 5G to AT&T Communications?
Jim, it's the most important network that we're going to launch in my career. We've been about 10 or 15 years in an architecture where everything was consumer first. This one's coming out of the chute as an enterprise first network, and it's really about, consumers seeing everything they do, whether it's shop or go to the hospital or new experiences with toys being dramatically different. So us getting the right enterprise relationships done early on 5G will be the foundation for how fast this thing scales.
Okay, I think 5G was up for grabs. I don't think the data center was up for grabs. I think data center could, as ecumenical, watch Ginni said, it could go to Microsoft as well as them. So it's not just going to be an IBM cloud. It could go to Azure, too. What I think is important is that I don't want to overstate that this is gigantic in the sense that they've always been together. I do think that 5G, the last thing that John said, is the most important because that was the most competitive.
I would argue it's been a big morning. All these enterprise people are finding their dance partner. You see, Nielsen today is moving their TV ratings platform to AWS. Right? Well, this is we're going to be hearing a lot more about.
I think it's interesting. AWS is really they want to be very sure that people know that the large retailers, away from Target and Walmart, they still recommend that AWS, and the retailers agree, is the cheapest and bestest customer interface. I'm focused deeply on Spotify. They have a great relationship with Amazon Web Services. So Amazon's got tentacles. Azure doing very well. IBM better with Red Hat. AT&T going with Red Hat because they have a long-term relationship, but they also have a long-term relationship with IBM. What I'm saying is I don't want people to be so excited that they pay up for IBM. That, I think, would be a mistake.
Right.
You agree with me, right?
Yes, but it also has to do with the change in technology in terms of 5G and the edge, and because of the lack of latency, that you can have so much more information held at the edge of the network that can then be sent back and forth because there's no latency anymore with 5G. It doesn't take, it takes a millisecond as opposed to.
You're not going to see Cisco cut out of this.
No, no, but there are going to be large opportunities for a lot of the providers and vendors. Meanwhile, people say we're not going to be spending enough on 5G. We're not going to be there as much as people, as they say. They question the milliwave, the spectrum that Verizon has right now in some ways, and how well it propagates.
IBM has Verizon. They have T-Mobile. IBM has they now have AT&T. So there we go.